So, as you know, I have a love-hate relationship with RAG, which leans heavily toward the hate side of
More
things.
so every day, I think.
Seriously, yeah, I just upgraded our embedding model, which is the Gemini model for Signal, and having to reindex everything, project by project. I'm not doing the whole thing at once, but still, what a pain. And what I hate about it most is that when I get done with a project, I really don't know that the data, the content that the semantic search brought back to the agents to answer one of our evaluative questions was the correct content. You know what I mean? It's a persistent black box to me. As a practitioner, I freaking hate it. So that is just a microcosm of the many issues that we have with AI in the enterprise. And that all kind of bubbles down to, what kind of AI trust infrastructure should we be building as builders? Is there such a thing? Can we ever get rid of hallucination? Can we ever track how we got to hallucination? And it becomes really difficult when you start talking about, business data, relational data, operational data. And so there's this push right now, as we all have talked about many times, with the semantic layers being one of the means of disambiguating and actually naming entities and knowing what they are, what this means for this business for doing X process. And there's this idea, and I think it was on the last episode, actually, we talked about the year of the graph, and every year is the year of the graph database.
We've
Right?
talked about graph a
And
lot.
you
Yeah, if it
started
wasn't the
building,
last one, it was a recent one.
you're building your own, which is very cool. But this idea of having graph rag, as but one idea of cutting down on hallucinations by giving the model both context and meaning. So the semantic for the meaning, the context for the graph with the relationships between the entities. Who knew that would be a good idea? Anyway, a company came out of stealth last week, a company that was started by a guy who knows a little bit about AI and the cloud. What's his name? Andrew Moore, who was running the AI cloud for Google, is the guy behind this company. And the company is Loveless AI, as in Ada Lovelace.
Ada Loveless.
Bit of a pioneer in our little industry.
Paying homage. Yeah.
That's right. And
So help
so
me
their
God.
idea, which is really cool, to do away with what we would call that basic RAG, the RAG that I hate, the naive RAG, and to replace it with what they call a context engine, which they're saying can basically give you like a 99.5% accuracy match when you're trying to identify elements for the model. And they're actually setting this thing before the agent actually does their little MCP search, to get the data so that you can be sure of what the model is seeing is the correct data. Great idea. Even better is they also are combining this with what I call like a world map. I'm calling it kind of. It's called Yoda graph, not with a D,
Yeah.
but two
Yes, not
T's,
Yoda.
which has like 57 million entities in it right now. So like people, places, things, and you might think, oh, well, we've seen this before with LexisNexis and others. And yeah, we have, but tying them together like they're doing will really appeal to a lot of companies that are trying to do things like, how do I optimize a supply chain, or how do I optimize just like shipping when I want to understand how, where the ships are, what the weather is, who's blockading what straits right now. And you can put those two together in what they call, contextual intelligence to sort of create this reliable context engine for AI. I think it's brilliant. I want to see more about it.
I'm excited about that. That's kind of the same thing. I forgot the name of the company. Not same, but this whole idea of capturing the semantics at the point of origin, that enriching knowledge graphs. The former CEO of GitHub started his, I think it's in Rich, I forgot, or Encore or something like that. Anyway, I totally get it. I hadn't been into knowledge graphs too much. I've been a kind of DBA person for a long, long time. But as I get into it, immediately see the huge difference it makes, both the prompting side, the AI engine side, but then combining that with procedural logic, deterministic logic, and
Much
doing all
more
of that.
deterministic.
Boy, the quality of what you get is I think, infinitely better. Now, I'm not saying plop a knowledge graph in anything in your
No,
relevant,
but
you know.
like, just think of what it cuts down on the token usage for one,
It
you
absolutely
know?
does. It definitely does. And then, of course, there's the whole enrichment of the graph and how what you put into it
Mhm.
and how much you know, I suppose you could overdo it as well. Real
Yeah.
interesting proposition.